shopping.
Okay, shalom, shalom. Kwam Yasha'Allah, Koholoim La Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, Bahashem, Rahakodash. Double honors to our apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well. And there by the Spirit taught us His beautiful truth. And just want to say the water to all the H.I.M and Akwaf. That's out here sincerely keeping the laws, the statutes, and commandments of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai to the best of their ability. This is Yahchanan Nawaf just coming at you with another quick lesson. Praying that it's edifying by the Spirit. And soon to come to a theater near you. In these Americas, hey, this shit gonna happen here. And people gonna bug the hell out, man. But it says millions in Spain. Portugal left without electricity after rare atmospheric phenomenon causes widespread power cuts. Yeah, so what's this they don't even know what the fuck is even going on, but they're saying atmospheric phenomenon. Millions in Spain and Portugal have been left without electricity after widespread power cuts blamed on rare atmospheric phenomenon, with officials warning that it may take up to a week for things to get back to normal. So that's going to throw some things into, array, man, Single women living alone. It's going to be, I'm not sure if they crime anything is like America. I'm telling them what the fuck, elderly people are all alone, not a good look. And then, of course, that's going to clip the food in supermarkets. If it's taking a week, everything gonna spoil. Everything that you have in your refrigerator is gonna spoil. Unless you have a generator or something like that. And I can't think of that one movie. It was a blackout type movie where, hey, that shit was kind of ill though. But crime spikes in these types of areas, man. Could go through the roof. But it says there is no indication that a cyber attack is behind Monday's large-scale power cuts, Portugal Prime Minister told the reporters. The cause of the power cut is still unknown. So what the fuck are you saying atmospheric phenomenon then, if it's unknown? But it's clear that it did not originate in Portugal. A rare atmospheric phenomenon was blamed for the outages, which affected millions. Due to an extreme temperature variation in the interior of Spain, there was anomalous oscillations in the very high voltage line, a phenomenon known as induced atmospheric vibration. Okay, so you either know what it was or you don't. These oscillations cause synchronization failures between the electrical systems, leading to successive disturbances across the interconnected European network. Authorities in Spain have not yet responded to claims from REN that the issues originated in their country. Spain's Prime Minister, Pedro Sanchez, said that the cause of power cut is still unknown, but said nothing can be ruled out at this point. They had that power outage in Puerto Rico. They had a couple of them. I think they finally did get their power back on out there. Due to the complexity of the phenomenon and the need to rebalance electricity flows internationally, it is estimated that full normalization of the network could take up to a week. And they're not even sure about that. But again, your food is going to spoil. You know what I'm saying? So, best thing that you could possibly do. I remember when the blackout happened here. I think it was like the eastern seaboard. It was pretty much like, mostly eastern, Midwest states. But the power was out for about 24 hours or so. But, I could just remember how chaotic it was. You know what I'm saying? People at the gas stations, people were standing on top of their fucking cars. It was, people were just going nuts. And, it was just traffic. People, the traffic lights, when you driving in cities like that, as you can see in the first video, and you got somebody that's just standing out there, he's trying to stop traffic over here, and he's waving these people through. And people are impatient as hell, man. You can't. The people, man, they not waiting on none of that shit. They'll jump the curb. I mean, there was all kinds of shit going on when that blackout happened. Now, this is 2025. I don't even know how long ago that was. That shit could have been damn near 20 years ago. But here in 2025, with the way that people are, and they have the impatience that they have, and they off that jump shot, they got that jab in them, the road rage, and it's just, people are very impatient, man. So, in a situation like that, let me just grab this quick scripture. And this is why we always pray, man. It's always important to pray and to have patience and use wisdom, man, in situations like this, because this could easily happen right here in the Americas, and we feel, me speaking as a man, going to happen soon. Ephesians 5:15. See then that ye walk circumspectly, not as fools, but as wise, redeeming the time, because the days are evil. See, and walking circumspectly, being circumspect. That's even, the scriptures talks about two is better than one. Not blowing relationships with every goddamn body. You at least want to be able to call somebody in case, or if you need to tap on your neighbor's door next door, at least have a good rapport with them where you can tap on their door and ask for, help if you need help, But a lot of people, they burn bridges. They don't get to even know their next door neighbors. They don't even, if they do get to know them, they arguing and shit and got some beef going on, because I know the neighbors next door to me on my left and my right side, you know what I'm saying? Because they've just been here, for a real long time, like how I have. But my neighbors across the street from me and anybody down the street, going, I don't know none of them really like that. You know what I'm saying? There's a few of them that we might say hi, but I've never been in their house. They've never been in mine. So it's not like that. But, you at least want to have somebody that you can call on and say, hey, can you give me a hand with this, or can I, sometimes it's might be even better to even group up in one person's home. Hell, the one that's actually got a damn gun, a shotgun or so. You know what I'm saying? Because, we know that by the Spirit, Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, he's the one that's going to keep you safe, because you're not to trust in man or trust in your own might. But matter of fact, let me get Proverbs. Which a lot of these people, they're just going to trust in their own thinking and going to make some rash, hasty, stupid-ass moves. Proverbs 3:5, trust in Yahweh with all thine heart, and lean not unto thine own understanding. In all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy path. And that's the mindset that you should have, on a day-to-day basis, not just with a blackout or something. Just getting up, this is something that you should be praying for. Lord, help me to not lean to my own understanding, but to trust on you. Help me to acknowledge you in all my ways, that my steps will be ordered by you, And that's where coming in, saying a prayer, saying a quick prayer real quick. Yahweh, what you think about this, or what you think about that? What should I do? Quick prayers, man, you can throw them up real fast, because you don't want to lean upon your own understanding, because you can make a silly, stupid, rash-ass move. Now, I'm willing to bet you all those women that's out here that's on the dolo, that's on their own, I'm pretty sure they got a man in the house with them right now. It's probably not a single home where I'm willing to bet you a lot of those, but some of them, they're prideful. They feel like they can hold it down on their own, or they done burnt so many damn bridges with the guy that they know, or the guys that they do know, that they can't even call on them, or the dudes, they just like, nah, bitch, I'm good. I'm over here. I'm chilling by myself. And she wants to wants to come stay with you because she's afraid. Because this is a bad situation. You can't tell me a blackout is good for single women with children and elderly. It's not good for just for strong ass men. But at least that strong ass man, he got a better chance of taking care of himself if something were to go down. Okay. Let me see. As news of power cuts spread, millions of ordinary people in Spain and Portugal were ordered to stay put. While photos of underground train stations and the Madrid Open tennis tournament plunged into darkness went viral on social media, U.S. tennis star Coco Gauff was being interviewed on the court at the Open when the power went out, as video showed the advertising hoardings behind her going blank, while her microphone also went dead. Damn. You know who Coco Gauff is. She might be about 18 now, but she started off kind of young. Let's get her real quick. One of the little up-and-coming tennis stars. This is her right here. Little young Eve. Endorsed by New Balance. She didn't grew up, though. But I think she's about 18 now. I think she started when she was about 15 or so. So she's kind of like one of those little tennis prodigies. But, man, shit, Now, if she's there with the electricity out, even with that type of fame, she's staying at the best place I'm sure wherever she's staying, they may have generators, hotels with generators and stuff like that. So she may not be completely in the dark. You know what I'm saying? Maybe, who knows? You know what I'm saying? I highly doubt it. She's probably, but she's not flying out of there. The airports is down. You know what I'm saying? Like, well, what are you gonna do? So So saying all that to say, when shit really hits the fans, all that money and that fame is not gonna mean a damn thing, man. It's not gonna mean nothing. You're gonna be a regular fucking person out here. Just so happen you might have a little extra padded security because you live in a secure gated neighborhood, so to speak. But that shit is they're gonna run them all over. When shit really hits the fans, these people are gonna run all through them neighborhoods because they gonna feel like you got it. So it says Spain's nuclear reactors automatically stopped working after the outage, but are in a safe condition after emergency generators kicked in. Okay, that makes sense. Madrid's 3.3 million inhabitants were urged to stay where they were by the city mayor after stoplights and highway tunnel lighting went down. I asked all residents of Madrid to keep their movements to an absolute minimum, and if at all possible, to remain where they are. We want to keep all roads clear. So you just stuck wherever it is that I guess daytime hit. You can go ahead and make some moves, but you caught up in the subway, you underground, man, look, not a good situation. And people are very insecure. You got to think about it. This is the social media age, and you have a whole generation of people that can't get along without their cell phone. They go to sleep with it. Every alert that goes off, they wake up to it. They're constantly scrolling. And this is the new generation that you have. So you have the kids fucking screaming, snotty ass nose. Your TV won't come on. You don't know what's going on. Your radio won't play. You can't hear no news. All you can do is kind of like, just basically depend upon what somebody else may have heard. And it's complete discomfort compared to what you're used to living like. Because, people used to living in air conditioning. It's hot now. People are used to just walking into the kitchen, opening the refrigerator, fixing them a sandwich or, throwing something in the microwave or, that shit. These people, man, lose their damn mind, man, just for one day. A week of not having your, your phone. Especially once that motherfucker die out, it's only a certain amount of time you can let the kids play on the phone. They might be able to play one of those little games or something that maybe you can play offline, But after that goes off, and you at the the mercy of your kids screaming the fuck, your babies, women pregnant. You got elderly people. Matter of fact, it goes on. It's talking about the emergency services here. Let me see. Did I miss it? Yep, right here. If emergencies calls go unanswered, which they're going to, go to the police and fire stations in person. Okay, so I'm trying to think how far out. Well, I'm not that far from a police station, I guess. Say about a good mile walk, maybe about 2 miles to a fire station. But I mean, it depends on how close you are to these places. And it depends on what time of the day you got to go. If it's at night, then you lurking out in the dark, and you're a woman, or especially like I said, this is where shit is gonna really hit your elderly and your single women with children. When things really hit the fans, because men, like I said, a man, he can throw a backpack on his back and he can get on the move, man. A woman, she got 2-3 kids, and she trying to, it don't work out too well, man. And again, the elderly, it don't work out so well. But it says, if emergency calls go unanswered, go to the police and fire station in person, where they will try to deal with all the emergencies which may present themselves. So they may not even be able to deal with you. In Portugal, passengers of airline TAP Air were told not to travel to airports until further notice. Parts of France also lost power briefly, but the network is now operating normally again. Okay. Hey, but there you have it, man. So, just a quick little lesson in the spirit, man, just to place you in a mindset of what it could be like if a EMP attack come about and there's no electricity in this place, man, because America's grids are old as shit. This place is everything, all the infrastructure here is old as shit. You know what I'm saying? It's nothing for Russia or whoever, North Korea, whoever the fuck, shoot a little EMP bomb this way. That's going to knock out everything electrical. The only cars or vehicles that may actually run is like vehicles from maybe, I don't know, man, maybe up, from the, if you got any newer vehicle, that shit not going to turn on, man. It's not going to come on. It's going to fry that shit. Only thing that will possibly work, or is some vehicles from maybe like at latest, maybe 1980. I'm not even sure how far back, you know what I'm saying? But, all this new shit gonna get fried. But, yeah, man, hey, just keep in mind the days and times that we're living in, man. If some shit like this was to happen in America, people gonna lose their goddamn minds, man. Because, people been hoarding up all this food, first off. And that's something that Esau might actually do. Because he knows that the American people are hoarding up food. People been buying extra deep freezers. They filling up extra freezers. So if the electricity go out, all that food gonna go bad. All that money you put into them freezers, all the meats, all that shit gonna go bad. You can't do nothing but come out and barbecue the shit out of as much of it as you can and really just have you a big ass feast. That's it. Then from there, you just left with, dry goods you had or canned goods that you may have had. But, a lot of people, man, they've been stocking up. They got freezers after freezer after freezer. Motherfuckers got 4-5 freezers at their crib, man. But some people, that's actually smart. Well, Esau, they're going to have some backup generators. That's just how Esau gets down. Esau going to have a generator. He's off solar power. He's doing shit like that, and that's something that you could could look into too. They sell them pretty I guess it depends on where you go, but generator, hey, they come in handy. You know what I'm saying? You just never know when you might need one. They got the silent ones, they got the the more louder ones. But I know in that Blackout movie that I was watching, the people with the generator, people knew, because if people see you got lights and everybody else don't, they gonna know something is like, okay, this motherfucker got a generator. He's got something that he's trying to, or she has something, or they got something that they trying to, they trying to keep the refrigerator on. They trying to keep the freezer on. So obviously they got food. And the one scene, I think they, they had a garden and shit, but they ended up getting ran down on, So even in that time period, it's still gonna all just be about prayer. It's gonna be, and you gonna have to pray to Yahweh about H.I.M, man, for your safety, man. And for the safety of your household and family. Now, there's nothing wrong with stocking up on a few things if you got the extra money to do it. Hell, certain states, it's nothing to get a rifle. You can get a long gun with just state ID here where I'm at. You can get you a whatever shit. I guess any kind of rifle, you can walk right out of that motherfucker with it. From my understanding. As far as if you want to get a shotgun or shit, an AR, whatever the fuck, I guess. But, like handguns and stuff like that, you have to, that's where you have to go for this, the license and schooling and little classes and stuff like that. But, shit, if you can afford you a nice little shotgun, man, go get you one, man. Grab you a couple of boxes, grab you a couple of shells. Never know, man. But like I said again, hey, just know that it's going to all be by the spirit and power of Yahweh by H.I.M as to whether or not it's going to come in use and handy for you. Don't think that you're just going to be doing shit on your own. Because man's goings of the Lord, man. And if he wants you got. Ain't going to be no way around it. So I'm going to end out there. I pray that the lesson was edifying. With that, Kwame Yasha Allah and the Bible Ball.